Welcome once again to another edition of Shelf Life Book Reviews Online. Thank you as always for taking the time to watch my videos. I hope you do find them informative, and when you go to your local bookstore, you will seriously consider purchasing the book that I'm about to review for you this time out. And the book is All That Is Wicked, a Gilded Age story of murder and the race to decode the criminal mind by Kate Winkler Dawson. This is published by Putnam and it retails for $37. For those who like true crime books, this book is an excellent read. The author has penned other true crime books, and she's also the creator of 3 very popular podcasts. So she definitely knows about crime, and when she researches a book, she goes all out. And this book is definitely a book that those who love true crime will find this book fascinating from first page to last. The book revolves around a man by the name of Edward Ruloff. He was born in 1819 in Canada, and he went to the States, and he had a very brilliant mind. People looked up to him. He was quite scholarly. He wanted to write a book on languages, and nobody really disliked him. He met the Shutt family, and they liked him. They took him in, and he was almost like a son. He married the daughter Harriet, and things seemed very good. They had a child, Priscilla, and life was great. But then Edward changed. It's just like he had a split personality. One second he was calm and content. The next second he was frantic, and his mind was, he was not his normal self. He became very jealous when Harriet started, talking to men, and she had them as friends. And one day, Harriet and Priscilla disappeared. Now, Edward told people that they had gone to visit people. I think it was Ohio, that supposedly they were there. They were enjoying themselves. And the longer it went on, the more suspicious people got. Now, they never returned, but Edward, he was never formally charged. And so soon other people started disappearing or dying. And it seemed like Edward had a very dark side. Now, Edward, the Shutt family always suspected that he was behind the disappearance of the daughter and their granddaughter, Priscilla. But like I said, nothing was ever proven. But as the book continues, we find out that while Edward was a smart man, he also assumed many aliases. And he went from one place to another, and he escaped detection because he was so suave, and his criminal mind was really racing overtime to figure how to get out of the charges. And like I said, he was never charged. But in 1871, Edward and 2 other men went to a warehouse to rob it. The people who were sort of like security guard in the warehouse, they were upstairs. Now, Edward took off his shoes so he wouldn't make any sound when he walked across the floor. But the people, they were trying to chloroform those people who were the workers at the warehouse. And they woke up and they started to fight. Now, one of the, I guess they were like security guards or maybe just employees of the company, one of the men was shot. Now, Edward panicked and he ran. He had taken off his shoes. Like I said, he didn't put them back on, and he escaped. He dove into the water and he swam across the river. Now, they found the shoes, and they found there was something very interesting about the shoes. They were created, the one shoe, to accommodate someone who had an amputated toe. Now, it just so happened Edward Ruloff had a toe that was amputated. So they did locate him, and they asked him, to put the shoes on, and it was a fit. If the shoe does fit, you don't acquit. He was guilty. of the murder of the person in the warehouse. Now, eventually he was on death row in 1871. He was to die by hanging. So while he was in the jail cell, a lot of people came to talk to him because he had a fascinating brain. And this is why he attracted people, because he was a smart man. He wasn't stupid. He was writing this book on languages, and people were anticipating it to be published, hopefully before he hung and he was sentenced to death. So a journalist came to talk to him, a phrenologist came to talk to him, an alienist came to talk to him, and a psychologist came to probe his mind. And with the journalist, he wanted him, he didn't want to die by hanging because he didn't want people to watch him die. So he was hoping that the journalist would have like a poison capsule in his mouth, and the day he was supposed to die, that they hugged and they sort of like kissed, and he spit the pill into Edward Ruloff's mouth so he would die there, so he wouldn't be hung and die by hanging. So it was a really fascinating story into itself. Now, he did hang. His neck was so thick that it didn't break when he went through the trap door of the hangman's apparatus, whatever it's called, and it took him like 15 minutes to finally die. Now, after his death, they actually cut off his head because they wanted to look inside his brain and figure out what exactly made this man tick. And incidentally, his brain is on display at the Cornell University, in the psychology department. There are several brains there in formaldehyde. And of all the brains there, his is the biggest frontal lobe, the biggest brain on display there. So it's truly fascinating that the man had a superior brain, and he didn't use his brains much, for good, but he used it for evil. And he was, a serial killer without question. And they think that he killed at least 7 people. So anyways, fascinating reading from start to finish. So if you're looking for a great true crime book, from the 1800s, All That Is Wicked is one amazing read. So hopefully when you figure out what books you're going to want, maybe this month, next month, or in the future, All That Is Wicked will be one that you will add to your reading list. So let me know if you agree with my review. So until we meet again, and I do thank you, by the way, for watching my video. Stay safe, stay sane, and I'll see you at the bookstore. Bye for now.